ranking all Mythic Brawlers in Brawl Stars. At number 28, Mr. P. Mr. P can keep enemies distracted with his porters and reach hidden opponents with his bouncing attack, making him great for consistent pressure. However, he struggles against tanky or high damage brawlers and lacks impact without his gadgets and star powers. Number 27, Janet. Janet has solid range and control, especially when charging her super, which allows her to fly and avoid damage temporarily. However, her damage output is moderate, and she's vulnerable when grounded, especially to high burst brawlers that can catch her before she takes off. Next at the 26th place we have Gray. Gray excels as a support brawler with his teleporting super, enabling surprise moves or quick escapes for his team. However, his damage is relatively low, making him vulnerable in direct confrontations with stronger or tankier brawlers, as he relies more on utility than on offensive power. Number 25, Doug. Doug is effective at supporting teammates with his healing abilities and can boost team durability. However, his own damage is limited, making him less effective in solo fights, and he struggles to deal with brawlers who can quickly overwhelm him before he has a chance to heal. Number 24, Miko. Miko's area damage and jumping auto attack give him solid crowd control and mobility, allowing him to maneuver around enemies effectively. However, his attacks can be tricky to land at a distance, and he's still vulnerable to precise or high damage brawlers who can outpace his jumps. Next, Gene. Gene's long-range poke and powerful pull make him excellent at isolating and disrupting key enemies. However, his damage output is modest, and he relies heavily on landing his super to make impactful plays, leaving him vulnerable to high-damage brawlers if his abilities are on cooldown. Number 22, Ruffs. Ruffs provides valuable support with his damage buff and can control the field with his super, enhancing his team's overall performance. However, his own damage is relatively low, and he can struggle against aggressive brawlers who can close the gap quickly and take him down before he can utilize his buffs effectively. Number 21, Eve. Eve shines with her long-range attacks and area control through her super, which can zone out enemies effectively. However, her damage output is moderate, and she is quite fragile, making her vulnerable to burst damage from aggressive brawlers who can quickly close in on her. Number 20, Willow. Willow excels at area denial with her poison attacks, which can deal consistent damage over time and control enemy movement. However, her range is limited, and she can struggle against brawlers who can dodge her attacks or engage her directly before she can unleash her full potential. Number 19, Squeak. Squeak is great at area control with his sticky bombs, which can damage and slow down enemies. His unique attack allows him to cover zones effectively, but he has a low damage output and can be outpaced by agile brawlers who can dodge his shots or quickly close the distance. Number 18, Tara. Tara excels with her strong area control and the ability to deal significant damage with her super, which can catch multiple enemies. However, her attacks require precision, and she can be vulnerable to quick, aggressive brawlers that can close the gap and disrupt her positioning. Number 17, Chuck. Chuck is known for his crowd control and solid damage with his area attacks, making him a versatile choice for both offense and defense. However, he relies heavily on precise positioning and timing, leaving him vulnerable to faster brawlers who can dodge his shots and take advantage of his cooldowns. At number 16, Sprout. Sprout excels at zoning and area control with his explosive attacks and the ability to create barriers that block enemy movement. However, he has a relatively low damage output and can struggle against high mobility brawlers who can dodge his projectiles and close in on him quickly. At number 15, RT. RT offers strong area control and consistent damage with his unique mechanic of switching between different attack modes, allowing for versatile playstyles. However, he can be vulnerable when he's reloading or switching modes, and his effectiveness decreases against agile brawlers that can quickly evade his shots. Number 14, Fang. Fang is a high damage brawler with strong burst potential, especially with his super that allows him to leap into battle and deal significant damage. However, his short range and reliance on landing his attacks can make him vulnerable to kiting and long-range brawlers who can keep their distance. Number 13, Melody. Melody is a highly mobile brawler who can deal significant damage thanks to her passive abilities. Her super allows her to maneuver quickly, making her effective at applying pressure on opponents. She is really good at heist. However, she has limited effectiveness in other game modes. Number 12, Charlie. Charlie is a versatile brawler who excels at both offense and defense with his strong crowd control abilities. His attacks can deal significant damage while also slowing down enemies, making him effective in controlling engagements. However, he can be outmatched by high damage brawlers and may struggle if caught in close quarters without the ability to maintain distance. Number 11, Lou. Lou is excellent at area control with his freezing abilities, which can slow down and even immobilize enemies in key zones. His super is particularly useful for disrupting enemy movement. However, Lou's damage output is modest, and he can struggle against high burst or agile brawlers who can dodge his shots and avoid freezing. Number 10, Buster. Buster is a tanky brawler with high damage potential and a super that allows him to shield himself and allies, making him great in team fights. His defensive abilities let him absorb significant damage, but his limited range makes him vulnerable to long-range brawlers who can chip him down before he gets close. Number 9, Otis. Otis is a versatile brawler with strong area control, and his new hypercharge makes him even more formidable by silencing enemies for 4.5 seconds, giving his team a huge advantage. This ability lets him shut down key threats, but he still relies on timing and positioning, making him vulnerable to high burst brawlers who can strike before he activates his abilities. Number 8, Buzz. Buzz is a high mobility brawler with strong close range burst damage thanks to his super, which allows him to pull himself toward enemies. His ability to quickly engage and eliminate targets makes him a strong threat in close quarters. However, his short range leaves him vulnerable to long range brawlers who can keep him at bay and wear him down from a distance. Number 7, Max. Max is a speedy brawler who excels at supporting her team with movement boosts, allowing for quick engagements or escapes. Her high mobility and rapid attacks make her great at dodging shots and maintaining pressure on enemies. However, her damage is moderate, and she can struggle against high-burst brawlers who can catch her off guard despite her speed. Number 6, Mortis. Mortis is an agile brawler with strong close-range capabilities, especially with his new hypercharge that allows his super to deal double damage if he catches enemies in his path. This makes him a deadly assassin in the right hand. However, his reliance on dashing in and out leaves him vulnerable to ranged brawlers and high-burst damage if he mistimes his attacks. Number 5, Lily. Lily is a powerful brawler with excellent burst potential, especially after her recent buff that increased her ammo capacity from 1 to 2 shots, allowing her to deal more consistent damage. This upgrade enhances her ability to control engagements and handle multiple enemies. However, she still relies on close positioning to be most effective and can be countered by long-range brawlers. Number 4, Byron. Byron is a versatile brawler who excels at both healing allies and dealing consistent chip damage to enemies. His ability to support teammates while maintaining pressure on opponents makes him highly valuable in team compositions. However, his low health and reliance on precise aim make him vulnerable to aggressive, high-burst brawlers who can quickly close in on him. Number 3, Clancy. Clancy is a powerhouse, especially at level 3, where his abilities become significantly stronger. At this level, his attacks gain extra range and impact, allowing him to dominate the battlefield by controlling large areas and dealing high burst damage. This makes him a top-tier choice for both offense and crowd control, as he can pressure multiple enemies and force them to retreat. However, he still needs careful positioning to avoid agile brawlers who can close in quickly. Number 2, Mo. Mo is a versatile brawler known for his high damage output and crowd control capabilities. His super can disrupt enemy positioning, while his attacks can deal substantial damage, making him a significant threat in team fights. His ability to apply pressure allows him to shine in various game modes. However, he has limited mobility, making him vulnerable to faster brawlers who can evade his shots and engage him directly. And the best Mythic Brawler is Juju. Juju is a unique brawler who gains different effects based on the terrain she stands on, enhancing her versatility. She can slow enemies when on water, gain long-range attacks in bushes, and deal increased damage on ordinary ground. Her super summons a pet that assists her by slowing down enemies, adding another layer of control to her gameplay. This makes her a formidable opponent in various situations, allowing her to adapt to the battlefield dynamically.